live, people. And it's good to hear from all of you, and it's good to see you all back again. Thank you for coming in and tuning in to another edition of Major Investor. I'm Will, your host, and I'm going to get this whole thing kicked off with a simple good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everybody out there in YouTube land or in the world, in the virtual, or I guess it's not virtual. If it's in the metaverse, it would be virtual. But this is Major Investor, and welcome again to the channel. And today's briefing is going to be on taxes. So, how much do you guys know about taxes, and what are the benefits of capital losses and capital gains, and your goodwill and your write downs? So we'll get into that in a brief second. So we're talking about Shib and how it benefits you in taxes. When you guys send your donations to Goodwill, you get to write that off under Goodwill. So if you're a company and you need to give to a charitable organization, you write that off as a Goodwill. If you take a loss on certain protocols that you were doing on a project that failed or that wasn't doing as well, like Elon Musk's with his SpaceX, his rocket exploded and went to the ground. Again, that would be goodwill. It was a complete and utter failure. That's a loss. That's a goodwill. You can't write that as a capital loss, only because it actually took off. If it was a capital loss, it would be a company or a co-founder company that he went and signed up under a project, and that company didn't do that well throughout the year. You can write that off as a loss. So this is the difference between a capital loss and a goodwill. Mostly goodwills are usually used for businesses, organizations. So with Shib, what can you write off? So if you were to send money to a dead-end wallet, you can write that off under goodwill. No. As a corporation, you could, but not as an individual. Individual, you have to call that a capital loss. So make sure you keep all your notes on how much you've sent to the dead-end wallets. Even if you use a disclaimer saying that you're sending this on behalf of, you're still collecting that money, you still have to show ownership of it. So you still have to claim it as a capital loss. And yes, you can claim it as a capital loss because you actually didn't benefit from it at all. It is 100% a loss. It's a personal loss, it's a business loss, it's a community loss. So if it's a goodwill that you're looking for, you would write it off a little differently if you're an organization or a business. But for personal, you can't use goodwill. It won't work because it's not like you're setting it up to make you money and then it failed. This is absolutely, you are helping the economy by reducing the supply of Shib, reducing your fiat currency, because you used your fiat currency to buy Shib, and therefore you're turfing it. So you're actually helping out the whole spectrum of everything, because you're absolutely destroying your fiat currency by doing this. So it's in a benefit to the country that you're representing. So therefore, it would be a benefit to them to have it burned. And if they caught on to it, and this is why I was strongly suggesting to everybody, once they catch on to this kind of atmosphere and get away from everything, this will be a huge benefit to Shib. And you can see the burns start to explode, right? So that's a huge benefit to your taxes. And that was my 2 cents worth on your taxes. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe at the bottom so we can keep these videos going, so that we can benefit together from more conversations like this one. Um, how you're going to benefit from it is it's going to be able to pay down your taxes, and you can use it to write off your capital against your capital gains. So as long as you're writing it down, you can make sure that you're keeping track of your capital losses against your capital gains. You can't claim it as a loss, unfortunately, on other stuff. All you can do is use it for capital losses and capital gains. It just makes sense. You're investing in something, you're expecting something out of it. It's not moving. You move it to a different portal. That portal burns it. You can use it to write off against your capital gains later on, if you have any capital gains. If you have capital gains and you want to liquidate and you're going to get 50% hit by the government, an easy way to remember this is they only going to go after 50% of it unless you're a long-term investor. As long as you can prove that you were an investor from day blah 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 to day to day. If you're accumulating SHIB all the way through, like I have been doing, and a few others have been doing, it becomes a little bit more trickier because we don't want to take the loss. So what we do is we cost average down. So when we cost average down, it also helps us. It also renders us from claiming capital gains, and therefore we later on when it goes up, to offset that, we would probably send it to the burns because 50% of it is going to get taxed. So you take 50% of it and you throw it into the burn portal or dead end wallets or eliminate it. Therefore, it is a capital loss. 25% of it is a loss, not 50% of it. 25% of the 50 that you throw in there is a loss. You get to write that off against your capital gains. So when you get your capital gains tax, you know exactly what to write off, and then you get to write that off against it. So therefore, you get to keep majority of what you threw away. You don't get to pay all the 50%. You only pay on the 50% that you burned, that you use it for a write-off. So now you're only paying 25%. So retrospect, it helps out the community. It also helps out you to pay down your taxes. This is Will, your host of Major Investor. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'd like to say good night, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from wherever you are in the world. Thank you. God bless you. Take good care of yourselves. And I hope this was an informative little talk on your taxes. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. Take good care. God bless each and every one of you. And remember, we're going to make 2023 the best year ever because we are the SHIB community. Cheers. God bless you all.